What's up, Captastic ladies and gentlemen? This will be a bonus video for the Sableye Garbodor deck that was featured on this week's Meta Monday episode. If you haven't seen the episode, I will link an annotation on the screen and also in the description that will take you to that episode so you can see the deck list, see the deck analysis and the battles that I just finished recording. But I was looking through my friends list here after recording those battles and I saw that Arnaboy 11 was online, so I thought, why the heck not send him a battle request and see if we can pull off a win against someone in my friends list with the Sableye Garbodor deck. So I'm waiting here for Arnaboy to accept, and here he goes. He accepts our battle request. We are facing a water, colorless and a psychic typing Pokemon in my opponent's deck. I've got no clue, no idea what that might be about. Psychic and water. Huh. We will have to see here. I'm very excited. This is the first time I'm playing against someone from my friends list while recording, so we'll have to see how this turns out, if we can pull off the win here. We do start off with a Sableye and another one in our hand, as well as a level ball, with which we could go for draw support by going for the Jirachi and then playing the Jirachi for a Sycamore, because we have no draw support in our hands. We have a battle compressor with which we could compress 2 puzzles of time and a live do, provided that they are in our deck. But for now we shall see, first we shall see what we are facing, and let's say hi to Arnaboy as well. Hi Arnaboy, hope you are doing alright, and he says hello back with a smiley. Super. Let's see here, we will go for a level ball and get a Trubbish because my opponent is playing a Zubat and we want to shut off those abilities. We don't want to get hit by sneaky bites all over the place. So we'll go with the Trubbish and take a look to our deck. I think I saw 1 puzzle of time in a live do. Do we have 2 puzzles of time though? So, oh yes, okay, there's 2. 2 and a live do, so we have everything that we need basically. Then we'll go with the battle compressor and we'll compress 1 puzzle. The live do of course, and then probably a Sycamore, because we don't have any other draw supports. So we can then Sycamore away our hands, draw into some extra cards. And at the same time we will have access to the Team Flag Grunt and the Zero Sick, because they will be in our discard pile. We get the other puzzle of time in our hands as well as a battle compressor, so we'll go with the other battle compressor. I think battle compress some more cards in our discard pile so that we have access to them. Let's go with the Lysander, and maybe let's see here, maybe we should go with the Delinquent as well as a Trick Shovel, so that we could at some point start milling Arnaboy's deck. I think that's the best choice here. We already have a Team Flag Grunt in our discard pile, so we'll go with that and then we'll end our turn. There's nothing else we can do. Luckily we top decked that energy, and that top deck though, in the Meta Monday episode we top decked our energies as well. Pretty amazing. And we get End. Oh no, N. Yeah, I let Arnaboy know that I'm not very happy to see that N. I think we had an okay hand. We had those hammers ready to go if we saw energy attachments. And here's an Ultra Ball. This card is Zero Sick, something else, and goes for a Shaman. So that's the colorless typing in my opponent's deck. Shaman, of course, should have known. Draws into 3 cards. What is the water typing? We see bats, we see a Verbank, City Gym, oh, and a laser. Oh no, that's super annoying. We even get to sleep, put to sleep, and there's a Toad. Are you kidding me? Oh no, it's a Toad Bats deck. And that's going to be a problem for us because we rely on the use of a ton of items, so that Toad is going to shut down our item use. Yeah, I'm going to tell Arnaboy that we are facing a very bad matchup for us here, because we won't be able to use our puzzles, nor will we be able to use our live do. Oh, that is an unfortunate. The first time I tried to face someone in my friends list and we get this kind of matchup, a direct counter to our deck. Well, we will have to see how this goes here. We already have 1 Sableye with 30 damage on it and it stays asleep. Might as well Trick Shovel while we can. We didn't get item locked, fortunately. Fortunately, my opponent whiffed the DCE. No DCE attachments. I think we'll go with the Team Flag Grunt and discard that water energy. My opponent says what? Because we trick shovel his computer search. That was a pretty amazing trick shovel. So we'll discard the water energy, and then I think should we go for the Garbodor? We do need a float stone, so I think I'll go for the Shaman actually and try and draw into a Garbodor and a float stone, preventing those bats from doing any damage to us. I will also go for an extra Sableye because the one in the active spot is also already nearly knocked out, meaning that my opponent is already taking a prize 2 turns into the game. And here we get a laser of our own as well as a float stone, but no Garbodor. So let's see, what should we do here? I'll probably laser the Toad and give my opponent a taste of his own medicine. And because of the Verbank City Gym, the Toad will take 30 damage, and I think we will end our turn here. And just like that, our Sableye is down to 10 hit points. If my opponent can find a DCE, it will get knocked out. Or even with a sneaky bite. There it is. There it is. The Sableye will go down. Yeah, well, that sucks. We will promote the Robo Sub, so at least the Sableye on our bench will not get damaged. But here is a VS Seeker. Does my opponent have a Lysandre maybe? No, it goes for an N. I should have attached that Flowstone there. I completely forgot. Because we will get item lock now, and then I cannot attach a Flowstone anymore to the Garbodor. So I should have attached that Flowstone to the Trubbish before passing the turn there. That was a bit dumb. We'll promote the Sableye with the energy. I think that's the only thing we can do. We can't use the hammers. We cannot use the Headringer. The only thing we can use is the Sycamore and the Jirachi. So we'll keep those in our hand for now. And a Junk Hunt for... What should we Junk Hunt for? We cannot use the Life Dew, but maybe at some point the item lock will break. So should we get it back so that we can use it when that happens? I don't actually know what to get here. None of these cards are useful under the item lock, so we'll go with the Life Dew and maybe a Robo Sub. At least that will guarantee us some leeway. It will give us some time. If the item lock breaks, then we have a Robo Sub that we can put in the active spot again, and a Life Dew that we can use. Right now the Toad is down to 90 hit points, meaning that if my opponent passes the turn, it will be down to 120. Then if he passes back into my opponent's turn, it will be 150. And then if he passes the turn again, the Toad will go down. So we will take 2 prizes then, if my opponent does not retreat or scoop up that Toad. And here is another laser with another Acrobat coming out. So it's going to put 30 damage on the Sableye on the bench there. Spreading damage everywhere. If only we could have shut off those abilities. Sadly we did not manage to, and another Sableye goes down. We are down to the last 2 Sableye in our deck here already. This is definitely not looking good for us. We have no way of getting back the Sableye in our discard pile. Our Super Rod is an item card. We cannot use it as long as we are item locked. Might as well go with the Jirachi for a 0-6 and discard that DCE. Try and buy ourselves some time here. Maybe our opponent will not be able to get another DCE in the next turn. I doubt it, but we have to try. Ideally I would like to get another 0-6, so we'll go with a VS Seeker and the laser for when the lock breaks. Then we can use those, and the lock should break. The lock should break, or might break, after my opponent passes the turn. Well, no, wait, we'll still get item locked if we see a DCE. Here's the AZ, scoops up. Oh, I thought it was going to scoop up the Toad for a moment there. Did not scoop up the Toad. Oh wow, that was lucky for us. So that means... Oh, and there goes another Sableye. Our last Sableye. We are down to the last Sableye. But yeah, that means if my opponent attaches now a DCE and goes for another Quaking Punch, then the Toad will get knocked out after that. So we'll still be item locked, but my opponent will need another Toad for the turn after that when he's knocked out, as well as a DCE. Does he get a DCE right now? That's the question here. And there is a DCE, so we'll see the item lock, but we will also see the knockout. So we'll go down to 4 prizes. But we are still definitely in a very tough spot here. 1 Sableye left. The Trubbish has got 50 damage on it, so that will also go down very soon. All my opponent needs is putting down that Crobat. They scooped up. We get an energy for the Sableye, and that's basically it. We'll go with the N and my opponent into 3 cards and ourselves into 4. That's not ideal, and because we took those prizes, it's a bit inconvenient that we took those prizes right when we got the N. And that's it. We get End into nothing that we can use right now. So this might be it here. This might be the turn where our opponent, where Arnaboy destroys us completely. A Crobat would suffice to knock out the Trubbish, and then we will have to promote the Sableye. If we promote anything else, the Jirachi or the Shaman, they would be very prone to getting knocked out, and my opponent would be down to 2 prizes. But the question still is here, my opponent needs another Toad. There is a Toad and a DCE for the item lock, and there is the DCE. Oh no, it's a Water Energy. So no DCE, no item lock this turn. That means we have a chance here. There won't be an item lock. We will be able to use our item cards. We'll be able to use to go for the puzzles maybe and get a live do. Although I think I got the live do back into my deck, so hopefully we can draw into the live do. And another Crobat comes down, puts another 30 on the Jirachi, so all that my opponent needs for the turn after that is a Crobat to knock out that Jirachi. We have to pick up that Jirachi. If we don't, we might lose the game. So if we want to stay in the game, we have to pick it up here. I will attach the Floatstone to the Shaman probably, so that it cannot get licensed out. And then I'll keep the Jirachi in my hands. I'll attach that Floatstone, and then I'll go for the Battle Compressor. See what we can do. What should we Battle Compress here? There's no real need for that Floatstone anymore, and we'll Battle Compress a Hammer. That way we have access to it. Maybe another Hammer, because they are item cards. If we get item locked, they are of no use to us. So we should, or it's the best option for us is to discard our item cards, and then we'll go for the Junk Hunt. Get those. Let's see here. Get I'm not sure. Maybe a VS Seeker for the Zero-Sick, so that we can discard that DCE, and then a Hypnotoxic Laser once more. Try and put my opponent to sleep if he wakes up in the next turn, because we did manage to put my opponent to sleep with that Hypnotoxic Laser, which is pretty awesome. We're putting 30. Oh no, and he wakes up, so we'll have to try and get the Toad to sleep again with the Hypnotoxic Laser next turn. But if we can, that is, because Arnaboy here could get a DCE or a Water Energy and item lock us again, and I don't think we'll be able to come back from that if that happens. We have to wait and see here. If it doesn't happen, we will use the VS Seeker to go for a Team Flare Grunt or a Zero-Sick. I said a Zero-Sick, but we need a Team Flare Grunt right now, because there is only a Water Energy attached to the Toad. Cannot discard that with a Zero-Sick. So we'll have to wait and see. Do these 2 cards allow Arnaboy to refill his hand and dig for a DCE? Here comes a Crobat, puts 20 on the Sableye. And no, it does not get a DCE, so we get another turn of item cards. Excellent stuff here. That end worked in our favor, and we top deck the live do. That's amazing. We'll go with that for sure. Then we'll try to put the Toad to sleep. Oh, Tails, no luck for us here. And I think we should Should we use a Sycamore maybe and try and get some hammers? I think we'll go with that actually, instead of the Team Flag runs. Maybe we can Sycamore into some hammers and then discard that water energy. Here is a hammer and a Super Rod, excellent. We definitely needed that Super Rod to get back some Sableyes as well as that energy into our deck. That Super Rod is huge for us. Here is the hammer. We managed to discard that water energy and we even get a Headringer to stall, so we should be safe. We should not be seeing an item lock in the turn after this. I think we broke the lock here. I think we have a chance at coming back. That's pretty amazing. I'll put another Sableye on the top of my deck for the next turn. We need another Sableye on our bench. Then we'll get back the puzzles. And with the puzzles we can get back anything that we need in the next turn. And in the meantime, this Toad has gone down to 90 hit points, so it is halfway there. It is halfway dead. Man, I would be so surprised if we would be able to get 4 prizes this game. Taking 4 prizes with Sableye, that is very rarely seen. And just my opponent has to pass a turn here. Arnaboy does not have anything useful in his hand, or maybe that he can use, I don't know. We'll go with the Puzzles of Time. We'll power up that Sableye there, and then we will get a Trick Shovel and let's see, maybe a Delinquent, although that's not a very good idea because the Burbank City Gym is helping us out take down that Toad. So maybe we should go for another Sableye, so we have 3 ready to go, or at least 2 with an energy and then 1 more on the bench for which we should be able to find an energy. Then we'll Trick Shovel. Hopefully we can discard a DCE. That will be amazing. Oh, with Juniper, that's okay. We don't want our opponent to have draw support. Then we'll go with the Getsis. Oh, my opponent has a DCE in hand. That's interesting. That's very interesting. I think my opponent is waiting to find maybe another Toad, because this one is nearly knocked out going into our turn. This Toad will go down. It will get KO'd. I will go down to 2 prizes. That's actually pretty insane. Like taking 4 prizes with a Sableye in a matchup against Toad. I would never dare to bet on that outcome. That is pretty insane. And here is the N that will disrupt our hands. The Puzzles of Time will get shuffled back into our deck. We don't try to do anything much useful, but at least we get to take 2 prizes from the knockout on the Toad. And just like that, it is 2-2 in prizes, and we get actually pretty awesome prizes: a Super Rod and a Trick Shovel. I think we should go with the Trick Shovel and try and discard a DCE if we can. Wow, that was a lucky Trick Shovel. My goodness. I feel for my opponent. I feel for Arnaboy. We discarded his 3rd DCE. That means he has 1 more left. We'll go with the Super Rod as well. Get back some Darkness energies. Trubbish maybe, or maybe not. Garbodor isn't very useful anymore. We'll go with this Jirachi. That allows us to get back a supporter, or to get a supporter out if we want to. But yeah, wow, I kind of feel here for Arnaboy. At least he should have 1 more DCE, because usually you play 4 DCE in a Toad Bats deck, so 1 can be still left in his deck or be prized. I will go with the Headringer here, I think. Headringer, because I'm still expecting to see another Toad. Maybe a VS Seeker for a 0-Seek. Since we've only seen 2 Toads so far, I'm expecting to see at least 3 in my opponent's deck. So potentially Arnaboy could get another Toad and a DCE, and when he puts those 2 down at the same time, he could start item locking us again, which would be pretty annoying. But here comes a Lugia, not a Toad. A Lugia, that's I did not expect to see a Lugia. We could Headringer it, but no point anymore because the Muscle Band has been put onto the Lugia, and my opponent does find a Water Energy for a bite onto the Sableye on the bench without the live do. My opponent's trying to knock out the Sableyes there and take prizes that way. Could also go after the Shaman. The Shaman is a liability on our bench. Isn't easy 2 prizes. We'll try and get rid of that Water Energy. Failed with the hammers. Should I go with the grunt here? I think I should. The energy is the biggest threat on the board right now. The Lugia not so much, because it can only attack the Sableye in the active spot, which has a life dew on it. It doesn't get my opponent any prizes. So we'll go with the Team Flag Grunt, and then we'll take a look at our deck, see what we want to top deck. We'll definitely go for that Darkness energy. Power up the third Sableye on our bench. And I think we are pretty good to go for a Junk Hunt here. We'll Junk Hunt for... Well, we can't Junk Hunt for the puzzles. We only have one left in our discard pile, because the others got shuffled back into our deck, so... maybe we should go for... a Trick Shovel and a puzzle. So if we draw into another puzzle, we could use them. And with the Trick Shovel we can start milling our opponent's deck, because I feel pretty safe right now. It's kind of crazy to say it against the Toad Bats deck, but I think I feel pretty safe at the moment. Not too threatened. So we'll go with this. And hopefully we don't get ends anymore. Hopefully we can use that Trick Shovel. So that's going to be the strategy from now on. I think we will start milling my opponent's deck. It's down to 13 cards. We are down to 13 cards. And here is a Lysander for the Sableye on the bench. Oh, and a Hypnotoxic Laser. Oh, that's a big play here. If my opponent can find the Crobat, he can knock out the Sableye. And doesn't find it, passes the turn. We have to scoop up the Sableye here. We don't want to give our opponent a prize. We'll go with the AZ. Here is the AZ. AZ up that Sableye, get rid of that damage as well as the energy, but we don't want to give my opponent knockout another prize. That would mean he would only need to take one more prize, so let's Trick Shovel. Oh, and there is the Crobat. My opponent missed out on the Crobat by a hair. Wow, that was pretty lucky for us there, I think. And then we'll go with the VS Seeker. Same order as it was. VS Seeker could get us, for example, a Team Flag Grunt. Or maybe even a Delinquent. Because there's no need to have that Burbank City Gym in play anymore. I'll Junk Hunt for 2 Trick Shovels. I think it's that time where we can. Where... the Sableye in the active spots, if it gets knocked out, that's okay. We'll just promote the other Sableye and probably Sycamore then to get the puzzles in our hands, so we can use the puzzles for the life dew. But I don't see how my opponent will knock out that Sableye. The DCE on the Crobat is not enough. A DCE on the Lugia would be enough. So maybe we should at some point get rid of that Muscle Band with a Zero Sick and then put a Headringer on it. For now we'll counter the stadium. We'll Junk Hunt again because we got ends. My opponent keeps disrupting our hand here. We'll Junk Hunt for the Trick Shovel. The one Trick Shovel that is left because the others got shuffled back into our deck. So those ends from my opponent are disruptive. We might as well go for a Hammer, but I'm not sure actually. Hammer isn't the most useful anymore. There's no energies on my opponent's side. If he puts down one, we can at least use that Hammer that we got. Still haven't seen another Toad and a DCE. Probably because my opponent's bench is completely filled up. I don't think it was very wise to play that Lugia. But oh well. We'll Trick Shovel. And there is a VS Seeker. At least that VS Seeker will prevent our opponent from ending us any further. The question is, what do we do here? We saw that Arno Boy put down a Verbank, so maybe we should go with a Delinquent. I don't want to get annoyed by any more lasers and damage from them, so I will use the Delinquent, get rid of the Verbank, and then also the cards in my opponent's hand. That way, kind of mill him down using that Delinquent. I think that's a pretty good choice here. It prevents any lasers from doing 30 damage a turn, and Potentially we discarded some important cards here from my opponent's hand. Hopefully we did. Hopefully he had maybe like the last DCE in his hand at the moment. Although I don't know why he wouldn't play it down on the Lugia then and attack with it. We'll have to see here. See what Arnaboy discards. If he realizes that we play the Delinquent, that is, because it doesn't seem like he's doing anything. He has to click the cards in his hands to let the TCGO know that he is discarding them. So maybe we should tell Arnaboy that we played the Delinquent. Maybe he didn't notice. Oh, there he goes. Never mind. Never mind. He discarded the cards. Actually, let's take a look at them. Let's take a look what he discarded. Oh, on the next page. Oh, and a Toad. He discarded a Toad and a Verbank City Gym. That might very well have been the last Toad in his deck. Wow, that was very nice Delinquent. I think Arnaboy might be a little bit disgruntled at this point that we discarded that Toad. We'll get back a VS Seeker and a Trick Shovel, because it's such a great combination. It's helping us out a lot here. We could VS Seeker for maybe a Zero Seek, get rid of that Muscle Band on the Lugia. Oh, and he gets a Crobat. I thought he was out of Crobats, but he did have another one and puts a 30 on the Shaman. Realizes that it's his best bet to take out that Shaman in order to win the game. So I think we'll go with the Zero Seek here, get rid of that Muscle Band, since we top deck the Headringer. That way, if Arnaboy gets a DCE in hand, he cannot immediately attack with the Lugia and take out our Sableye. Then we'll Trick Shovel and see. Oh, another VS Seeker. Excellent stuff here. At least he will not be able to use an N with that VS Seeker then. And then we will Junk Hunt for the VS Seeker and a Trick Shovel. Once again, the combo that is allowing us to tip the game in our favor, to take the game, because I think we are on our way to taking the game here. Arnaboy has to rely on the top decks at the moment, while we can Junk Hunt for the cards that we need. I think I might actually AZ up the Shaman this turn, get rid of it as being a weak spot on our bench. Oh, and he top decked DCE, puts it on the Shaman, is going to Sky Return with the Shaman. That could actually be a viable strategy here for Arnaboy. He could continuously Sky Return and knock out our Sableye that way, which means if he does that, we would have to recycle our Life Dew. Let's go with the Trick Shovel first here and take a look at his deck. A Garbodor. Well, yeah, let's discard it. Oh, that was my deck. I misclicked. I was wondering, a Garbodor in his deck. I wouldn't expect that, but it was my own deck that I discarded. Well, Herpaderp. That was dumb. That was dumb. That was a misclick. I didn't see that I clicked my own deck. We'll go with the Sableye here for the top deck. At least when the Sableye gets knocked out, we have another Sableye to put on the bench, and that way we keep two Sableye in play at all time. Because it might very well get knocked out here by the Sky Return, and I will get 2 puzzles of time with the Junk Hunt. These puzzles will allow us to get back the Life Dew from the Sableye in the active spot if it is knocked out, which I am expecting here. I am expecting to see another Sky Return. I think that's how Arnaboy can potentially maybe try and take the game. My Sky Returning, that's his only way out, I think, at this point, because we cannot discard the DCE if it continuously gets put back into his hand. So we might have to end and disrupt the Sky Return strategy from Arnaboy that way. That could be a way. What? He attaches the DCE to the Crobat. That is a huge misplay, I think. That is a huge misplay. We can just discard that DCE. And we don't even need the Zero Seek. The hammer was sufficient. I think that was a tremendous misplay there. I think I should have gone for the Sky Return. Wow. And he didn't even knock out the Sableye in the active spot with it. Decided to go for the Shaman, which we will AZ up right now. Get rid of that Shaman. get rid of that weak spot for sure here. And leave our opponent with no option but to take out the Sableyes. There's only one Sableye on our bench that can generate a prize. The other one cannot generate a prize. So right now my opponent does not even have the option to take the game. And he says, I gotta go. So he probably realizes that's going to be game here. We'll put down the stadium, we'll trick shovel. And oh, there is probably the last N in his deck. It's too bad that he's got to go. I would have liked to see how it plays out here. I think we have the win here. Would be nice to be able to finish the game. We'll get back 2 puzzles, and then we'll say that we think we got the game here. And he says you win. Yeah, he knows for sure. I will tell him good game, because it was definitely a very good game here. We got demolished at the start, and then the item lock broke and we managed to get back into it while our Sableye gets poisoned with a laser. I will tell him I will be including this in a recording. Let him know that it was definitely worth including in a recording, a extra episode, because of how exciting this match was. Super exciting in my opinion. And yeah, might as well tell him to have a very nice day, and because it's very nice of him to have played this game with us here. We'll retreat to the Sableye and get rid of that poison damage, so that it doesn't get knocked out. And then we'll go with the puzzle of time, and we will get a, let's see here, a trick shovel and a delinquent. Delinquents to discard some more cards from my opponent's hands, and he has not yet conceded, so might as well keep playing. And here is another Verbank City Gym. We'll discard that, we'll discard the stadium, and we'll discard the cards from Arno Boy's hand. Yeah, very nice of him for playing this game with us, and such a great game. I'm so happy to have had this game. I was not expecting it to turn out like this at all. I thought we were done for when we were down to our last Sableye there, with the Toad knocking our Sableyes out and the bats. So we'll junk hunt for a trick shovel, and unfortunately we don't have the other trick shovels. We still haven't top decked them. It would come in handy. Might as well get a laser just for good measures, even though my opponent can retreat to Crobat. And there is a Sycamore, and I will laser the Crobat. Why the heck not? Oh, he even gets put to sleep. Poor Crobat here. Oh my goodness. I will get back the puzzles. It does wake up, but it won't matter. It won't matter at all unless my opponent can get an energy for some reason. He could still knock out the Sableye on our bench then, but we have the puzzles in our hands to get back the life do. We have the game in our hands, and there is a 0-6. He gets rid of the life do, and that's okay. I don't think I will even bother getting it back again. I'll just pause the turn here, because my opponent's down to 1 card. All that we have to do next turn is pause the turn again, and that will be the end of that. That will be the deck out. The win condition of Sableye Garbodor will be reached against Toadbat. Here we go. End my turn. And GG it is. What a fantastic demonstration of Sableye Garbodor. I don't know what to say anymore here. This was a hell of a ride, a hell of a game. We did 0 damage. Well, our opponent did 460 damage. That is a lot considering our Sableye only has 70 hit points. He drew into 79 cards. My opponent drew into 70 cards as well. That's pretty amazing. And then heads flipped 6 and 5 as opposite to tails for 4 and 3. So kind of lopsided, more heads than tails. But we will end it here. I hope you have a Karptastic day, and I will see you next time.
Karp, 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 Karp.